Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're embarking on a journey through something, well, many of us experience firsthand. The complete life cycle of a dog.
That's right.
We've gathered some fascinating insights that really unpack the distinct developmental stages our canine companions go through, from those incredibly vulnerable first days all the way to their wise and wonderful senior years.
Quite a fan, isn't it?
It really is. Our mission today is to move beyond just knowing the stages and really understand the unique needs, physical, behavioral, even nutritional, that define each phase.
Because understanding these needs is key.
Exactly. Because when we truly grasp these transitions, we're so much better equipped to provide the best possible care and, ensure a long, happy, and healthy life together.
It's the goal, absolutely.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting right at the very beginning. Puppyhood.
Okay. The puppy stage, as our sources really illuminate, truly lays the groundwork for, well, everything that follows. It's a period of incredibly rapid transformation.
Yeah.
We can really break it down into several key phases.
So let's dive into those earliest weeks, from 0 to 4. It's almost unbelievable how utterly dependent they are at this point, isn't it?
Absolutely. Newborn puppies are completely reliant on their mothers. Born blind and deaf.
Wow.
Their world is primarily defined by smell, touch, and taste. That sensory trio is just crucial for their survival, guiding them to their mother for nourishment and warmth.
And that warmth aspect, they can't regulate their own temperature.
No, not independently. That's why that close contact with their mother and littermates is so vital in those initial days. They huddle for warmth.
It really underscores just how essential that early maternal care is for, well, just basic survival.
Definitely.
But then as those first few weeks pass, we start to see some pretty dramatic changes, right? Things start opening up.
We do. Between 2 and 4 weeks, significant sensory development kicks in. Their eyes open, revealing the world visually for the first time.
That first peek.
Yeah. And their ear canals open, introducing them to a whole new realm of sounds. And of course, those tiny but surprisingly sharp first teeth begin to emerge.
Oh, those needle-like puppy teeth. Every puppy parent remembers those little land sharks.
They certainly make an impression.
And physically, they're starting to get mobile during this time too, aren't they? Not just little blobs anymore.
Yes, exactly. We see the beginnings of their locomotion skills. They progress from just sort of wiggling around to being able to crawl, then standing on their own forepaws, and eventually taking those, endearing, wobbly first steps. It's a period of remarkably swift progress.
And sounds like it.
Following this, we enter what's widely recognized as the socialization period, roughly from 4 to 12 weeks.
Okay, this is such a critical window, isn't it? You constantly hear about the immense importance of socializing puppies during this time.
It truly is. Their senses continue to mature, and social interaction becomes absolutely paramount. This is when they really begin to learn the nuances of canine behavior through play.
With their littermates.
With their littermates and their mother, yes. They're picking up those essential doggy social cues like bite inhibition that will shape their interactions for the rest of their lives.
That makes sense.
And interestingly, our sources highlight that the quality of socialization is maybe more important than just the quantity.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, a few really positive interactions with a calm, well-adjusted dog, for example, can be far more beneficial than, say, overwhelming them with a huge crowd of excitable people or dogs.
That's a great point. Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And this is also when their fear response starts to develop, right?
Yes, it does. Which makes those positive exposures to a variety of environments, sounds, and experiences so crucial.
You want them to learn that the world is generally a safe and interesting place, not something to be constantly afraid of.
Precisely. Positive and well-managed experiences during this period can significantly shape their future temperament and overall confidence. And it's fascinating to note that by around 7 weeks old, each puppy really starts to develop its own distinct personality. You can already begin to see those individual quirks and traits emerging.
That's when you start to see the little adventurer, maybe the snuggle bug, the one who's always getting into mischief.
Exactly. Those individual characters start shining through.
And around 8 weeks, as most people know, This is often the time they're considered ready to transition to their new forever homes.
That's the common timing, yes.
Yeah.
A huge and exciting transition.
A significant life change indeed.
And that leads us naturally into the growth and training phase, which typically spans from about 3 to 6 months old.
Right. This is when they seem to grow like weeds. You can almost see it happening day by day. And their energy levels definitely shift into high gear.
Absolutely. Significant physical growth is happening right alongside rapid cognitive development.
Learning so much.
And as our sources emphasize, this is an ideal time to really begin obedience training. They have all this newfound energy, and they need to learn how to channel it appropriately, understand basic commands.
Sit, stay, come. The basics.
The fundamentals, yeah. It's all about laying down those foundational rules and helping them understand what's expected of them in their new human world.
Makes sense.
Plus, they're becoming more independent during this time and continuing to refine their social skills as they interact with a wider circle of people and potentially other animals, if done carefully.
And we can't forget the teething.
Oh no, let's not forget the joys of teething during this phase. Those permanent teeth are erupting, usually all in by around the 5th month or so.
So chew toys are essential.
Absolutely essential. Having plenty of appropriate chew toys available is definitely a must to help soothe their gums and, importantly, redirect their chewing instincts away from our furniture and shoes.
Oh yes, definitely protect those shoes and furniture. Been there. Okay, so then we transition into late puppyhood, which you said can last from approximately 6 to 18 months. That's quite a range.
It is, yeah. And that variability is largely attributed to breed size. Smaller breeds tend to mature physically much faster than larger breeds.
Okay, so a Yorkie might be done with this phase much sooner than, say, a Great Dane.
Exactly. They'll generally move out of this late puppy stage sooner, but across the board you'll continue to observe physical growth, though maybe slower, and certainly ongoing social learning during this time. They're still exploring their environment, figuring out social hierarchies.
Still learning the ropes.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've navigated the whirlwind of puppyhood. What comes next in this life cycle? Ah, yes, the teenage years.
The canine teenagers.
Or, as our sources aptly term it, the adolescent stage, which typically kicks in between 6 and 18 months, overlapping with that late puppyhood a bit.
Yes, the canine equivalent of those sometimes perplexing human teenage years. It's truly a transitional period.
I bet.
And as the material highlights, hormones begin to exert a significant influence on their behavior. Now, if a dog hasn't been spayed or neutered,
Right, that makes a difference.
it can, yeah. You might really start to see those moody teenage behaviors emerging more prominently. Things driven by reproductive hormones.
Like what sort of behaviors?
Oh, maybe increased roaming tendencies in males, marking territory more, perhaps more reactivity or challenges to authority. Females will go into heat cycles. Spaying and neutering removes those specific hormonal drivers.
Got it. Ah, yes, the sudden selective hearing, the bursts of seemingly boundless energy followed by inexplicable periods of lounging. Sounds familiar.
Doesn't it? There are definitely some
Yeah.
parallels in terms of fluctuating energy levels and a certain degree of, shall we say, testing of boundaries.
Testing the limits for sure.
And physically, they're often nearing their adult size, maybe looking quite grown up. But their emotional maturity and impulse control, still developing.
Ah, so the brakes aren't fully installed yet.
That's a good way to put it. They might possess the physical capabilities of an adult dog, but lack the mental breaks or judgment sometimes.
So even though they might look grown up on the outside, they still require that consistent guidance and those clear boundaries we established back in puppyhood.
Absolutely. Training certainly doesn't stop here, does it?
No way.
Not at all. Continued training and consistent boundaries are absolutely crucial during adolescence. It helps them navigate this phase and develop into well-adjusted, well-behaved adult dogs.
Makes total sense. Need that structure.
Right. Now, let's move on to when they finally reach full adulthood, often considered the prime of their life.
Okay, the adult stage. This is the stage we all kind of look forward to, right? When they've really settled into themselves.
Yes, generally. And as our sources indicate, it typically begins around 1 to 2 years of age. Although, as we've discussed, that breed variation remains a key factor. Larger breeds take longer.
Right, those giant breeds might still be maturing.
Exactly. Smaller breeds generally reach skeletal maturity and hormonal balance earlier, maybe around a year. While larger breeds might continue to fill out and mature until they're closer to 24 months old, sometimes even longer for the giants.
Okay.
But once they've reached adulthood, typically spanning from about 1 to 7 years old, give or take. They generally look and behave like fully grown dogs. Their temperaments are usually more predictable.
You start to see those settled personalities emerge, and that better self-control is definitely a welcome change after the sometimes turbulent adolescent phase.
It often is, yes.
So, what are the key things to focus on during these prime adult years, keeping them healthy and happy?
Exactly. The primary focus shifts towards maintaining their overall health and well-being. This includes providing a balanced diet, of course, one that's appropriate for their size, breed, and activity level.
Not puppy food anymore.
No, generally adult maintenance food. And regular exercise is vital, keeps them physically fit, maintains a healthy weight, prevents obesity and related issues.
And mental exercise too, right?
Yes. It's easy to overlook, but don't forget the importance of ongoing mental stimulation. Engaging play, puzzle toys, maybe even continuing training or learning new tricks keeps their minds sharp and prevents boredom.
Mental enrichment is so crucial for their overall happiness, isn't it? And can really help prevent those unwanted behaviors that sometimes stem from just being bored.
Absolutely. A bored dog will often find its own less desirable forms of entertainment.
True. And of course, regular checkups with the veterinarian are essential throughout adulthood too.
Yes, absolutely. For preventative care, vaccinations, parasite control, dental checks, and just monitoring their overall health to catch any potential issues early on. This really is their physical and behavioral peak, generally speaking.
They're in their prime.
Pretty much. They're
Right.
typically at their most robust, active, and often their most trainable during this stage.
Makes sense.
But, time inevitably marches on, and they eventually transition into the mature or middle-age stage.
Okay, middle age. When does that typically start?
Generally, we think of it beginning after they reach around 7 years of age. But again, it's not a hard and fast rule.
Still depends on the breed.
Very much so. 7 years old. That's when you might start noticing those first subtle hints of slowing down, perhaps a little more gray appearing around their muzzle or eyes.
Yeah, the distinguished look.
Exactly. Although, as our sources point out, this transition really depends on the breed and size. Smaller broods, known for their longer lifespans, might not show those outward signs of aging quite as early as their larger counterparts.
So a little dog might still seem quite young at 7 or 8.
Quite possibly, yes. Interestingly, it seems that body weight, rather than just height alone, is often a pretty good indicator of when these age-related changes might begin to appear more noticeably. Heavier dogs tend to age faster.
That's a really helpful distinction to make. So what should we be particularly mindful of as our dogs enter this middle-aged phase of their lives? What changes?
Well, monitoring their weight becomes increasingly important.
Hmm.
Their metabolism might start to slow down a bit, making them more prone to weight gain if their diet or exercise isn't adjusted.
Right, need to watch the calories.
Exactly. It's also wise to pay closer attention to any subtle changes in their energy levels or mobility. Maybe adjust their exercise routines accordingly. Perhaps shorter, more frequent walks instead of one long run.
Matching it to their evolving physical capabilities.
Precisely. And those regular veterinary checkups become even more critical, maybe semi-annually instead of annually, especially for larger breeds, for early detection of any age-related health issues that might be starting to develop, like arthritis or changes in organ function.
So it's about becoming more observant and proactive in monitoring their health and overall comfort.
That sums it up well.
And again, that timing of this transition really varies. Smaller breeds might not enter this stage for quite a while longer, while those larger and giant breeds might reach it sooner, maybe 5 or 6.
Exactly. Large and giant breeds tend to age more rapidly, physiologically speaking, so they might begin to exhibit signs of middle age earlier than a smaller terrier or a chihuahua, for example.
Okay.
And that naturally leads us to the senior stage, often referred to as their golden years.
Ah, the seniors. A special time. This is when they often start to slow down more noticeably and truly benefit from a little extra tender, loving care. And as we've learned, the beginning of this stage can vary quite significantly. You mentioned maybe 10 to 12 years for smaller breeds, but as early as 6 to 8 years for the really large breeds.
Precisely. It's generally considered the last quarter of their anticipated lifespan, whatever that may be for their breed and size.
Okay.
You'll often observe more pronounced decreases in their energy levels, naps become more frequent and longer, and there might be some subtle cognitive changes as well.
Like what kind of cognitive changes?
You might notice they seem a little more forgetful, perhaps disoriented at times, maybe changes in sleep patterns, or less interaction. Sometimes referred to as canine cognitive dysfunction, similar to dementia in humans.
Oh, okay. Something to watch for.
Definitely. And age-related health conditions also become much more prevalent during this stage: arthritis, kidney disease, heart conditions, cancer, vision, and hearing loss.
So this is when those more frequent checkups with the veterinarian become absolutely essential, isn't it?
Absolutely critical, maybe every 6 months or even more often if they have existing conditions, to closely monitor for these potential issues and make any necessary adjustments to their care plan quickly.
Makes sense. And care adjustments might include food.
Yes, dietary adjustments are often needed, maybe senior-specific formulas, sometimes prescription diets for certain conditions. Portion control is still key, and their exercise routines will likely need further modification.
Gentle walks, maybe swimming if possible.
Yeah, low-impact activities are great. Better accommodate their physical abilities and any mobility issues that may arise. And, as our sources highlight, providing special attention to their joint health becomes increasingly important.
Like supplements.
Often, yes. Vets might recommend adjusted diets or specific supplements containing things like glucosamine, chondroitin, or omega-3 fatty acids to support joint health and manage discomfort.
It's all about ensuring their comfort and maintaining the best possible quality of life for them in these later years.
That's the absolute priority.
And even with the slowing down and the appearance of gray hairs, many senior dogs still possess that wonderful spirit, don't they? They can continue to enjoy their lives to the fullest with the appropriate support and understanding.
They truly can. Many maintain youthful spirits and adapt remarkably well.
That's lovely to hear.
And for some fortunate dogs, they might even exceed their average life expectancy for their breed and enter what's sometimes referred to as the geriatric stage.
Geriatric, so even beyond senior.
Yes, representing advanced age, basically living longer than typically expected.
That's such a wonderful milestone when they reach that advanced stage. It's like they're living on bonus time in the most beautiful way possible.
It really is a testament to good genes and good care, often.
And at that point, they'll likely require even more specialized care, I imagine.
Yes, almost certainly. With a strong focus on maximizing their comfort, managing chronic conditions, and ensuring overall quality of life for however much more time they have with us, palliative care might become more central.
It's all about comfort and dignity.
Exactly. At this advanced stage, it's prioritizing their comfort, minimizing any discomfort, ensuring they can still enjoy simple pleasures like gentle petting, tasty food, a soft bed.
Making every day count.
Yes. And thanks to the advancements in veterinary medicine, better diagnostics, treatments, pain management, we are seeing more and more dogs living well into this stage of their lives.
It's really quite remarkable. A gift, really.
It is.
Now, we've touched on the significant impact of breed and size quite a bit throughout this. But let's maybe delve a little deeper into some of the other key factors that can influence a dog's overall life cycle and lifespan.
Certainly. Breed and size are indeed major determinants, as we've discussed. Small breeds generally boast the longest lifespans, often ranging from around 10 to 15 years, sometimes longer.
Okay.
Medium-sized dogs typically average about 10 to 13 years. Large and giant breeds, sadly, tend to have shorter life expectancies, maybe 8 to 11 years for large, and sometimes only 6 to 8 for the giants.
That's a big difference.
It is, and it's an interesting point that while small breeds may mature faster in their early years, reaching physical adulthood sooner, they generally age more slowly in their later years compared to large breeds.
So they hit maturity quick, but then stay there longer, relatively speaking.
That's a good way to think about it, yeah.
And we even have some specific examples of those longer-lived small breeds, like Chihuahuas, often living between 14 and 16 years. Pomeranians, around 12 to 16. Yorkshire Terriers from 11 to 15, and Shih Tzus with a fairly wide range, 10 to maybe even 18 years.
Those figures really underscore the considerable variation that exists even within the small breed category. Genetics play a huge role.
Right. Beyond just size and breed, though, there are also specific health considerations that can vary across different life stages and between different types of dogs, aren't there?
Oh, definitely. Our sources indicate that smaller breeds, for instance, can be more predisposed to certain conditions as they age.
Such as?
Things like liver, kidney, and adrenal diseases, degenerative heart disease, particularly mitral valve disease, and pancreatitis seem to pop up more often in smaller seniors.
Okay. And dental disease. I hear that's a big one for small dogs.
Huge. Alarmingly, they're also particularly susceptible to dental disease, periodontal disease. And that's not just bad breath. It can have a domino effect, seeding bacteria into the bloodstream and complicating other health issues like heart or kidney disease.
Wow, so dental health is really critical for them.
It really cannot be overstated, especially for small breeds with crowded teeth.
Okay. And larger breeds, different issues.
Often, yes. Larger breeds frequently face a different set of challenges, particularly musculoskeletal issues like arthritis, hip dysplasia, elbow dysplasia, due to their size and weight.
More strain on the joints.
Exactly. And they might tend to develop other age-related conditions earlier, potentially due to the greater physical demands placed on their larger bodies throughout their lives, and sometimes faster cell turnover associated with rapid growth.
And our sources mentioned something about genetics and breeding.
Yes. They indicate that the varying lifespans and health challenges across breeds are often linked back to specific genetic traits, some desirable, some maybe not, that have been inadvertently amplified through selective breeding over generations.
Like the rapid growth rate you mentioned for large breeds.
Right. That rapid growth can put more stress on their joints early in life, potentially predisposing them to issues later. Or breeding for certain head shapes, like in brachycephalic breeds, can lead to breeding problems.
It really highlights the importance of understanding your dog's specific breed or mix and being aware of those potential predispositions.
It does. So you can be proactive in providing appropriate care, monitoring for early signs of these issues, and maybe making lifestyle adjustments.
And of course, separate from breed, the overall quality of care they receive throughout their entire life plays a massive role, doesn't it?
Absolutely, a fundamental role. Our sources even cite research suggesting that crossbred dogs, often referred to as mixed breeds or mutts, tend to have slightly longer average lifespans compared to purebred dogs.
Oh, interesting. Why is that thought to be?
The prevailing theory is hybrid vigor, basically greater genetic diversity within the mixed breed population, which might reduce the chances of inheriting specific breed-related genetic disorders, though that's a generalization, of course.
Right, makes sense.
And overall, factors such as their genetic makeup, sure, but also the quality of their nutrition from puppyhood onwards, the amount and type of exercise they get.
Mental stimulation we talked about.
Yes, the level of mental stimulation they receive, and crucially, the consistency and quality of veterinary care they are provided with preventative care, diagnostics, treatment, all significantly influence their lifespan and overall health.
Consistent vet care makes a difference.
Huge. Interestingly, one of our sources cited a study showing that dogs who receive consistent preventative veterinary care, including things like regular dental cleanings under anesthesia, tend to live significantly longer, up to 2 years longer, potentially.
Wow, that's significant. It really drives home the point.
It does. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A dog that is well-nourished, kept at a healthy weight, appropriately exercised, mentally engaged, deeply loved, and receives consistent, high-quality medical care is undoubtedly more likely to enjoy a longer and healthier life.
No question. So bringing all of this together, thinking practically for owners, what are some key ways we can actively support our dogs through each of these distinct life stages we've discussed today? Let's recap the support needed.
Okay. Well, starting right from puppyhood, it's all about setting them up for a successful and healthy future, right?
Getting the foundation.
Exactly. Proper socialization during that critical window, those positive experiences, is absolutely key, along with ensuring they receive all their essential vaccinations on schedule.
Vitals first.
Yes. Feeding them a high-quality puppy food specifically formulated for their projected adult size and developmental needs, generally higher protein and fat, balanced calcium and phosphorus for bone development.
Got it. And training.
Early initiation of basic obedience and house training is crucial for setting expectations and building communication. Plus, those regular checkups with the veterinarian to monitor their growth, catch any congenital issues, start parasite prevention, and providing them with plenty of safe and appropriate chew toys, especially during those teething months we talked about.
Save the furniture. Okay, then adolescence. The teenage phase. What's key then?
Then, as they transition into adolescence, it becomes really important to continue that consistent training and reinforce those foundational lessons. They will test boundaries.
Stay consistent.
Yes, provide them with ample opportunities for appropriate exercise to help burn off that sometimes manic teenage energy in positive ways.
Keep them busy.
Definitely. Closely monitor their nutrition. Transitioning to adult food at the right time, your vet can advise based on breed and growth rate. And continue providing those important positive socialization opportunities to ensure they develop into well-adjusted, confident adults.
Don't stop socializing just because they're bigger.
No, it's ongoing.
Okay.
Then moving into their adult years, the prime time.
Maintenance mode.
Kind of, yeah. The focus shifts to maintenance and preventative care. ensuring they maintain a regular exercise routine appropriate for their breed and energy level,
Huh.
feeding them a balanced, high-quality adult diet, watching their weight, continuing preventative care practices like year-round parasite control, vaccinations as needed, and regular dental hygiene, whether that's brushing at home, dental chews, or professional cleanings.
Don't forget the teeth.
Never forget the teeth. Providing ongoing mental stimulation through interactive play, puzzle feeders, training games, whatever they enjoy, and scheduling those routine annual or semi-annual veterinary checkups to stay on top of their health and detect any potential issues early.
Proactive care.
That's the key. And finally, for our cherished senior companions,
The golden years support.
it's all about making thoughtful adjustments to accommodate their changing needs. Their diet might need to be adjusted, perhaps fewer calories if activity decreases, maybe different nutrients, or prescription food for health issues.
Tailoring the diet?
Yes, we need to modify their exercise routines, gentle, low impact, maybe shorter and more frequent outings, to suit their physical abilities and any limitations they might have. Comfort is key. Increase the frequency of their veterinary visits, as we discussed, to closely monitor for age-related health changes and manage chronic conditions effectively. Pain management becomes very important.
Addressing pain is crucial.
Absolutely. And consider incorporating things like joint supplements, ramps, orthopedic beds, anything recommended by their veterinarian to help manage any discomfort, maintain their mobility, and just improve their quality of life.
Little things can make a big difference for them.
They really can. It truly is a continuum of care, isn't it? Where we are constantly observing, learning, and adapting to their evolving needs as they gracefully progress through these distinct phases of life.
That's a great way to put it, a continuum of care.
And gaining a deeper understanding of these stages, well, it not only allows us to provide better physical care, but also enables us to truly appreciate each stage for the unique joys and sometimes challenges it brings.
Absolutely. From that playful, sometimes clumsy, and endlessly curious puppy stage, full of discovery, to the steadfast companionship and settled nature of their adult years, and then the gentle wisdom and quiet affection of their senior years, each phase represents a unique and precious chapter in their lives and our lives with them.
Beautifully said.
And by recognizing these distinct phases and thoughtfully adjusting our care accordingly, we can truly help our beloved dogs live healthier, happier, and more fulfilling lives right by our sides.
As one of our sources so eloquently put it, the life cycle of a dog is a remarkable journey. And by taking the time to understand the intricacies of each stage, we not only equip ourselves to provide the best possible care,
Right.
but we also inevitably deepen that profound and, let's face it, irreplaceable bond we share with our canine companions.
That bond is everything.
It really is.
So as we bring this deep dive into the fascinating world of the dog life cycle to a close, I want to leave you all with this thought. Take a moment to consider the dog or dogs in your life. Whether they are curled up next to you now or perhaps a future furry family member you're dreaming about. Which stage of this incredible journey are they currently in? Or perhaps which stage might they be approaching on the horizon?
Thinking about where they are right now.
Yeah. And based on the insights we've explored today, what specific adjustments, whether big or small, might you consider making to better support their individual well-being, enhance their health, and truly make the most of every single precious moment you have together?
A great question to ponder.
Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining us on the deep dive.